If you're having issues generating high-ticket qualified phone calls so that your sales team or yourself can close them, I want to solve that for good in this video. Hey everybody, Hernan Vasquez here. I hope you guys are doing great. And on this video, I have something really cool to share with you guys. A couple of weeks ago, I put together this training for one of my communities. It's called High Ticket Marketing, and it's free to join. So if you want to join the community, you can click somewhere around here so that you can join the community. But I did a training specifically for that community. Now, as you might have seen in my other videos, I kind of broke down the way that we use at SalesTips.com to generate high ticket marketing clients and leads and sales and book calls for many of our clients. Now, if you've been wandering around it, there's going to be a link somewhere around here so that you can watch that video. But in this video, I want to share the number one thing that turns things all around. The main funnel that we use when it comes to generating high-ticket marketing leads and high-ticket book calls and whatnot, it's called a VSL funnel, which stands for Short Video Sales Letter. Okay, it's a short video sales letter funnel, and we've been using it for years, and it works extremely well to generate high-ticket qualified appointments. However, the main piece of that VSL is the VSL itself. The main piece of that funnel, it is the VSL itself. And I did this training for my community, breaking down our $1 million VSL framework that we use to generate these type of appointments. So in this video, I want to share with you how you can do something similar, how you can do the same. So I'm going to share with you guys the breakdown that I did for my community. And again, if you want to join that community, it's free. There's going to be a link somewhere around here. And let's jump into the share screen where I share how to build a $1 million video sales letter. Let's talk about a short VSL. I actually talked to you guys about our short VSL funnel a couple of weeks ago, and that's in the community, and you can get access to it. It's somewhere in the live streams, so you can get access to it and whatnot. In that funnel or in that live stream, I broke down our funnel, right? And that's the number one funnel that we use, generally speaking, to generate high ticket coaching and consulting clients. So if you sell anything high ticket and you want to increase the amount of leads that you're getting, which is the one thing that you guys wanted to learn about, you want to deploy this type of funnel. You want to deploy a high ticket VSL funnel so that you can actually have people and talk to people every single day, every day, all day long, right? If you so choose. Or if you have a sales team, you can actually fill up their calendars. Okay, so that's the idea when it comes to a VSL funnel. All right. Now, the main piece of this VSL funnel is, of course, the short VSL. And when I talk about a short VSL, I'm talking about a VSL that is between 15 to 25 minutes long. The days of having a 2-hour-long webinar to sell a call are pretty much gone. The shorter the VSL, the more you have to work on your sales skills, because today actually I was posting on my timeline and I was telling my followers that the more resistance you get in the phone when it comes to talking to somebody, it's because you're actually not building enough trust with your marketing, so that by the time somebody hits the phone with you, somebody jumps on the phone with you, they're pre-sold. I think it was Dan Kennedy that said that you cannot scale a company relying on your sales team. Why? Because most salespeople, as much as most employees, will not be stars. You might have a couple stars, but the reality is most people will not be superstars. So you need to be able to scale your company with quote-unquote mediocre salespeople, right? That's what Dan Kennedy said. And I agree with that, because the more your marketing can do the heavy lifting for you, the less of a resistance you will have on the phone. The reasons why I put together content, the reason why I put together these funnels, the reason why I put out these machines, and I spend days and weeks and months tweaking them, it's because I don't want to sell to anyone that's not pre-qualified, that's not pre-educated, and what I have to offer. I want the sales calls to be super cool. I want people to want to talk to me, right? I don't want to be an unwanted pest. I don't want to be the guy that's cold calling. I respect those people, you know, God bless them, but I'm not one of them. I don't want to do that. So that's why I'm putting together all of these machines, and I'm building these machines so that they can manufacture the trust, they can manufacture the authority. So by the time somebody hops on the phone with me, it's like a really easy conversation. I actually had 7 calls today to this point, and And not all of them were sales calls, but 4 of them were sales calls, and there were super cool sales calls. Those are calls that I like to have. Now, when somebody comes out of cold, somebody that doesn't know who we are, somebody that doesn't consume my content, those sales calls are much harder to put together. For me, right? For me. Again, this is Hernan speaking, right? An introvert, somebody that wants to put together marketing so that I don't have to deal with really high pressure sales calls. And that's not my style either. So understanding the fact that your marketing needs to do most of the heavy lifting so that your sales calls are a breeze. And that would also allow you to scale. Now, the VSL funnel allows you, as part of your marketing machine, it allows you to get leads that are pre-qualified, pre-educated, and pretty much ready to go. Of course, you will need to fight some objections and whatnot, but the goal of this VSL funnel, and especially the VSL, is to educate people, is to position yourself as the authority in the room, and also disqualify people. You want to educate, number 1, you want to position, number 2, and you want to disqualify, number 3. All right, so we're gonna go into all of these steps, but I just wanted to kind of set the stage as to why a VSL funnel works. And as I was saying, the VSL that I'm about to share with you is set up to work with cold traffic. Cold traffic meaning traffic that you will run from Facebook or YouTube or Google or LinkedIn or whatever into this VSL. So the VSL needs to be long enough, right? The other day I was reading about copy. Most famous copywriters in the world, they say that there's no such thing as a long sales letter. And I agree, there's no such thing as a long VSL. The VSL needs to be as long as you need it to be to actually convey the point, which again, the point should be 3 things. Educate, edify or qualify, right? Or build authority, and disqualify people. So however long it takes you. Now, the reality is that we're noticing that a VSL that is between 15 to 25 minutes right now is the sweet spot. We're testing with longer VSLs, and the attention span of people is not there. Again, long gone are the times that you needed to do a 2-hour long webinar to actually, sell something online. But also, we're also testing with 5-minute VSLs, and the 5-minute VSLs are effective if you have a great sales team. Why? Because generally speaking, people will not come with the right context, they will not come with the right mindset, they will not come with the right pre-qualification. Okay? So if you have a great sales team, you can do a shorter VSL. But if you don't have a great sales team, or you're not great on the phone like I am, I'm not great on the phone, then what you want to do is you want to set up this mechanism so that it makes your lives easier. So let's talk about the VSL. So again, what we're going to be talking about is a VSL for cold traffic. That's important. That's an important distinction, because it's a VSL for cold traffic, meaning that this is a VSL that you want to run from advertising, all right? As I shared with you guys the other day on the VSL funnel, all right? It's a VSL for cold traffic, and then again, this is going to be a 50 to 25 minute VSL. This is kind of the sweet spot right now that we're experimenting with. You can go a little bit longer. I actually have a VSL that is 35 minutes, all right? But 15 to 25 minutes seems to be the sweet spot, okay? Less than 15 minutes, you are not able to do the 3 things. More than 25 minutes, people tend to drop off, okay? So this needs to be able to convert cold traffic, educate, pre-qualify, edify, and disqualify people, all right, from cold traffic. So here are the elements of a VSL. I always like to start, and I'm gonna tell you guys the VSL script, because I like to do a script first, and I'm gonna walk you guys through my script, which I have right here. This is for agency performance offer, so I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. So this is for agency performance offer, so I'm gonna share with you the script as we go, okay? So with that being said, these are the elements of a VSL. I always like to start with social proof, okay? And or testimonials, all right? I always like to start with social proof and testimonials. And here's why. People that are coming our way to watch this VSL, they don't know who we are. All right, this is for cold traffic. Again, you can start warm traffic to this and it's gonna work just as fine, but If this works for cold traffic, that means that it will work for warm traffic. If this works for cold traffic, people that do not know who you are, they haven't heard about you and all that, and you can get somebody on the phone that is already educated and disqualified, and it's building your authority, it generally means that for warm traffic, people that already know who you are, your engagers, your list and whatnot, it's going to be much easier. Okay, so the first thing that I always want to do is I want to start with social proof and testimonials. So the first thing that I say, because I also want to hook people over the first 3 seconds to 5 seconds of the VSL. The vast majority of drops that you will get in a VSL will be over the first minute. So if people stay over the first minute, there's a high chance that they will end that VSL. But 70% of people, at least in my experience, will drop over the first minute. So you want to make that first minute count. And how we're making it count? Some people have different approaches to this. How we're making it count? By adding social proof. So the first thing that I always say in my VSLs, and the first that we always script for clients at Scale Driven is, hey, how would you like to get these results? And boom, boom, social proof, social proof, social proof, testimonial, testimonial, testimonial. And I'm actually sharing with them what's on screen, right? So, hey friend, or hey, how would you like to get these results? And we start with testimonials. We start with social proof from the get-go, because again, people do not know us, or they don't know us enough. So we want to make sure that we have other people talking for ourselves, right? So social proof, social proof, social proof. So as you can see, here is where I start. It's like, hey, let me show you some of the results that we have for our clients in our marketing campaigns. And I show them actually results. Here's result A. Here's this client. We took them from A to B. Here's result 2. Result B, we took this client from A to Z, right? So you want to start with results, all right? So that's the first thing that you are trying to do when it comes to a VSL. So I always start with social proofs. The next thing is to bring up the pain and agitate it, okay? So you start with social proof, and then you segue into a question, which is usually, on this case, right, for our agency performance VSL, it's like how much money you're losing because you don't have the right marketing help. On this case, I'm selling our agency performance model, right? So how much money you're losing because you're not getting the right marketing help. How much better you could feel if you would lose 30 pounds, right? So you want to bring up the pain and agitate it. And you generally do it with questions, or you show that you understand the pain that they go through, right? You understand the pain that they go through by not getting the results that you're trying them to get, okay? So again, we start with social proof, and then we go with bring up the pain and agitate it. In this case, we're like, now let me ask you this. How much money you're leaving on the table by not having the right advertising team to work with you, right? How much money you're leaving on the table, and then I go into agitating the pain. So I bring up the pain, which is leaving money on the table, not having enough impact, all of these things. And then I agitate the pain. In this case, I agitate it in 2 ways. I say, here's where most business owners are right now. They either try to hire an agency and they have all of these problems with hiring an agency, or they try to build an in-house team and they have all of these issues with in-house teams. So here it is, right? Here's the main problem. If you're a business owner, nobody thinks like you. Nobody has as much skin in the game. So if you hire an agency, they won't have skin in the game. And if you build an internal team, then you need to go through finding them and training them and managing them and blah, 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 blah. So I'm bringing up the pain and I'm meeting them where they at, right? Because most business owners, in this case, they tried to hire an agency and it didn't work. And they tried to build an internal team and it didn't work either. That's the thing, and that's how I'm bringing it up and agitating the pain. So these are the things that you want to do. You want to ask them a question and you want to agitate the pain. How many diets have you tried, right? Here's the problem that many people that are trying to lose weight are at. They tried to do this diet, or they tried working with a coach and it didn't work, right? So you want to bring up the pain and you want to agitate it, all right? And then I like to go into authority building, right? So authority building. And this is where, so you bring up the pain and then you say, the reason I know this and the reason I know why most people fail when it comes to getting the right help on advertising or losing weight or whatever that is, it's because I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I've been working with these guys. I had the results. You started with results and now you're building your authority, right? In my case, I say, the reason I know this is because I work with guys like Frank Kern, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, blah, 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 right? So I bring up my authority, right? So I say, during my career, I built and launched several digital marketing agencies for Frank Kern, for Grant Cardone. I served 350 plus clients, right? So now you go into authority building. Now, after the authority building, so this is why you know what people are going through, right? Because you've been doing this for long enough. Now you go into future pacing. But what this didn't have to be like this? What if you could get the best of both worlds in this case, right? What if you could bring an advertising agency that will have skin in the game? What if you could lose weight in a fast, easy, and fun way? How would you feel? How would your relationships would change? How would you feel with yourself? How would your business would grow? Think about it for a second. How would your family feel? What could you do if you could actually get the results that I'm about to share with you how you can get? Because we're actually going to do some teaching during this sucker, okay? So again, start a social proof. We bring up the pain. We tell them how we know about the pain, and then we tell them what your life will be like if you went ahead and get rid of this pain and you actually get the results that you wanted, all right? So as you can see, let me ask you a question. What if you could, and I like the what if statement, right? What if you could get the best of both worlds? What if you could find experts right now? What if you could do this? What if you could do that, right? Now, if this sounds interesting, I have some great news. Now you segue into the actual content, okay? And the content has a really specific process, right? So usually, generally speaking, again, the goal of the VSL is to build your authority, is to educate, all right? Is to educate, is to build your authority, and is to disqualify. So far, we've been building authority, right? So far, we've been building authority. Now, we're going to educate and we're going to build some more authority. And the way we do this is by actually giving them some good stuff, all right? So generally speaking, what I like to do is I like to do what's called the 3 pillars, okay? So usually I like to do the 3 pillars. So I'm gonna do this. So content is gonna be the 3 pillars, all right? We have pillar number 1, we have pillar number 2, and we have pillar number 3, okay? So 3 pillars. Now, each of these pillars will be tied to the offer that you're gonna make, right? Each of these pillars will be tied to the offer that you're gonna make because you want people to take action at the end of the VSL, right? And generally speaking, what's going to happen is that the 3 pillars, they need to be tied to 3 things, all right? They need to be tied to money, they need to be tied to time, and they need to be tied to effort, okay? So money, time, and effort. Those are the 3 pillars. So pillar number 1, it's, on this case, going to be tied to money. Now, it doesn't have to be. As long as you're hitting these 3 things, so money, time, and effort, then pillar number 1 can be tied to time. Pillar number 2 can be tied to money, right? But as long as you're hitting on those 3 things, you're golden. Pillar number 1 is tied to money. Pillar number 2, on this case, is going to be tied to time, right? And then pillar number 3, it's going to be tied to effort. So what you want to showcase on these pillars is how much money you spent to learn what you know right now. Pillar number 2, how much time you spent to learn and know what you know right now. And pillar number 3, how much effort you put into it. And the reason why we're tying money, time, and effort is because we're going to save them a ton of time, we're gonna save them a ton of money, and we're gonna save them a ton of effort, all right? So let me go into the pillars. All right, there we go. So, but how, right? How do we solve this? Or we were segueing into the future pacing, which is, here's how life will feel like, or how life will feel like once you get these results. So today I'm going to share with you how you can actually implement these 3 pillars, or these 3 secrets, or these 3 strategies and whatnot, so that you can actually get the results that you want. All right. So in this case, we're going to go into the 3 things, but how? And that's by avoiding the 3 major obstacles, which is, in this case, it's our version of the 3 pillars, the 3 major obstacles to running successful Facebook ads, right? The first one is not knowing how to launch a good Facebook ad strategy. So the first pillar on this case is tied to strategy, right? So that's my first pillar. You need to have a good strategy in order for you to have good results with your Facebook ads, right? And then I segue into, you know how I know this? Because I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in failed Facebook ads because I didn't have a good strategy, okay? So that's the first pillar, and it's tied to money, all right? So again, you want to go ahead, you want to tell them, here's what you need to do. You actually want to tell them, here's what you need to do. You need to do XYZ in order to get these results. Here's how I know that you need to do XYZ, because I spent all of this money doing it, or I spent all of this time doing it. And you do the same thing for pillar number 2 and pillar number 3. So here's the first thing that you need to do in order to lose weight. Here's the second thing that you need to do in order to lose weight. Here's the third thing that you need to do in order to lose weight. Here's how I know. Because I spent so much time doing diets that didn't work. I spent almost 10 years trying this thing and it didn't work. And here's how I know that you need to do this third thing in order for you to lose weight. Because I spent so much effort at the gym and it didn't work. But then I realized that I could do this, and then everything changed. So you see how the 3 pillars work? Okay, so we tell them, here are the results that you can get if you follow these 3 pillars. So we're telling them the what. We're not telling them the how. We're telling them the what they need to do, not the how they're gonna do it. The how they're gonna do it is part of jumping into your high ticket offer. And generally speaking, what I like to have is a story, okay? I like to have a story on pillar number 1, right? So here I was spending all of this money in supplements. I was going to the gym 3 times per day or 2 times per week, and I didn't have any results. Or here I was spending all of this money on Facebook ads. Or here I was spending all of this money hiring agencies. You want to actually set up a story for each of these pillars that illustrate the pillar, okay? So you want to set up the story number 1 for pillar number 1. Here's the one thing that you need to do. Here's how I learned it. And here's how I know because I spent so much money. Pillar number 2 is, here's how I know that you need to do number 2. The thing number 2 is because I spent so much time, and you want to tell the story about that thing. And pillar number 3, here's how I know that you need to do this because I spent so much effort doing this thing. I remember that I used to walk 30 miles to go to the gym and then 30 miles back, right? Without shoes. In winter, it was raining, right? So you want to tell them that story. And once you're done with the 3 pillars, then you go into the disqualifying section, okay? Disqualifying section. So now that you know, here are the 3 pillars that you need to do, you have 2 options. That's how I like to segue into this. Now that you know that you need to do this one thing, and then you need this, and then you need to do this other thing, and then you need to do this third thing in order for you to get the result, you have 2 options. Option number 1, grab the information in this VSL and run it yourself and try to do it yourself. Spin your wheels for a little bit and you will not get any results, or you can actually do it cheaper, faster, and have a lot more fun and much easier by joining our program. Because our program is set up so that you can get these results that you want to get, and we will help you implement the 3 pillars in your business. All right, so that's the segue right here. So you have 2 options. Now that you know the things that you need to do, you have 2 options. You can go out there and try to figure it out by yourself, or you can get our help, which is going to be cheaper, faster, and easier, and a lot more fun. So again, they don't need to spend all that money. They don't need to spend all that time, and they don't need to spend all that effort. They don't need to do all of that thing, all of those things that you do. And then we go, or actually I should put a segue here, all right? And then we segue into the offer. Now, before we go there, you need to disqualify people. So this is gonna be the disqualifying section. Now you do say, but here's the thing, here's the kicker. I cannot do this for everyone. You need to have these characteristics. You need to be able to spend in your well-being. You need to be able to be committed. You need to dedicate X amount of hours per week or per month. And then you list your ideas for your ideal customer, right? So what does your ideal customer look like? They need to have money. They need to be willing to test. They need to be good with advertising. They understand that this is a process. They're not hurrying to get results. Those are the things that I say in the disqualifying section. So if you're not this person, do not apply. I cannot do this for everyone. That's the key phrase, okay? I cannot do this for everyone. You need to have these things in place, okay? You need to have these things in place already. You need to be able to commit. You need to be able to do this, to do that. So think about your ideal customer, and then you disqualify them by that. And then we go into the CTA, the call to action. If you have all of these things, and if you want to learn how to do it yourself, and by the way, on the disqualifying section, I do add something, which is, and you need to have the funds, because this is a 5-figure investment. This is a 4-figure investment. So you need to have the funds to do it. But if you do tick all of these boxes, and if you want to take your business or your life to the next level, it doesn't get better than this. You can get these results a lot faster, a lot cheaper, and having a lot more fun. We need to make sure that we're a good fit before we actually let you in on this program. So the next thing that you need to do is to schedule a call with us. You need to apply, because this goes to an application page. You need to use the form below or click the button below to apply. Then we'll make sure that we're a good fit, and you need to have a conversation with me or my team to see if we'd be a good fit for this program. Okay, so that's the call to action. We keep on disqualifying. All right, of course I cannot do this for everyone. You need to have these characteristics. We need to have a conversation. You need to apply, because we get a ton of sub applications every single day, and we want to make sure that we serve people in our best possible level. So we need to make sure that you're a good fit for this program before we actually help you out. All right, and that's where you sign off on the VSL. Okay, so let's just recap real quick. Okay, so let's just recap. This is a VSL for cold traffic, 15 to 25 minutes tops. All right, you can go a little bit over. Generally under 15 minutes, at least on my end, it doesn't work. You want to start with social proof. You want to tell them, hey, this is the results that we're getting for clients. Then you want to bring up the pain, and you want to agitate it. You want to say, I understand where you're at. I understand why you're not getting the results. Okay, because here's what's happening right now in your life. You try this, you try that, you try this, you try that, and it didn't work. Here's how I know that it didn't work. It's because I've been a coach for 20 plus years. I've spent all of this money on ads. That's your opportunity to build the authority. Okay, so authority building, and then you say something like, what if you could get rid of all of these issues? What if you could finally get the results that you want? What if you could? How your family would feel like? How would you feel like? How much more confident would you feel like? How would your kids would look up to you? How would your impact will grow? So future pacing. And here's the good news. I'm going to share with you how you can make this a reality for you. Are you ready? It's all based on 3 pillars. Pillar number 1, you need to do this. Pillar number 2, you need to do this. Pillar number 3, you need to do this. And then you segue into the pillars, okay? Pillar number 1, I spent so much money trying to figure this out. And this is what I learned. And the reason why I learned this is because I spent so much money, right? Pillar number 2, here's the thing that you need to do. And here's how I know, because I spent so much time trying to figure this out. Pillar number 3, this is the thing that you want to do, that you need to do in order to get the results. Here's how I know, because I spent so much effort. Now here's the thing. Now that you know the 3 things that you need to do, you have 2 options. Number 1, you can go out there, do it by yourself. Number 2, you can get our help. However, in order for you to get our help, you need to tick these boxes. This is not for everyone. You need to have the funds, you need to have the willingness, you need to show up to the calls. But if you tick these boxes, it doesn't get better than this. Now, if this sounds interesting to you, fill out the form below, click the button below, and schedule a call with my team. And I cannot wait to see if you're a good fit, and we can welcome you on the program. All right, so that's it. That's my VSL framework right here, all for you guys, so that you can take a look. I'm going to upload this little graphic, beautiful graphic that I put together for our members area. And I hope that this was helpful.